Now that we've seen the free speech for sale video, let's think a little bit more about these giant media conglomerates and define what exactly is media conglomeration. It's a process of mergers, acquisitions, and buyouts, and what happens is it results in corporate ownership of smaller media holdings. You don't have nearly as many small-town newspapers or local radio stations as you used to. Many of those have been bought by the media conglomerates and now have syndicated programming that's heard from coast to coast. There are four ways media conglomeration happens. Four factors are technological convergence, convergent journalism, media use convergence, and organizational convergence. First, technological convergence. This media trend is caused primarily by the transition of analog to digital signals. So think about the difference between digital and analog. Analog were things like VHS tapes, audio tapes, things that could degrade over time and were very physical in nature. Digital is very non-physical, it's very virtual in nature, and it's possible to make a digital copy of something that is just as good quality as the original. Think about CDs. They're digital media. They don't degrade, and they last over time, and they give you the perfect sound every time, as opposed to tapes, which would wear down, or even old records, which would get scratchy. This digital technology allows unlimited lossless reproduction. So it's much easier for companies to transmit information, transmit data, or transmit video from one location to another because it's not as physically bound. If they have a quick internet connection or a satellite connection or a cellular connection, they can send data from one place to another digitally. The easier manipulation, storage, and duplication in this transition from analog to digital signals allows for conglomerates to archive and to syndicate. Convergent journalism is when a single news organization gathers information that is then reported across print, broadcast, and online media. So the same information is broadcast in multiple channels. If you think about some of the implications of this on news content, think about the differences between these media, between print, broadcast, and online. Online media is often up to date, to the minute, or even to the second, and anyone can post online. Whereas print usually goes through an editorial process where people examine the material, and broadcast is in a similar fashion to print in that it's edited and written and highly looked at instead of just put on as soon as possible. We thought that the speed of broadcast was as fast as we could get until the online world came out. Another aspect of media conglomeration is media use convergence. Now this is when consumers simultaneously use multiple media, and so a media conglomerate can exploit that. When would you do this? Perhaps if you're watching a Monday Night Football telecast, they have something called ESPN Surround for that and other sporting events where you can log on and follow the game, follow stats, or follow stories that aren't being shown on the television but augment the experience. So consumers may simultaneously use multiple media to heighten their experience, and conglomerates that have holdings in all of those different media can take advantage of that. Fourth is organizational convergence. And this trend involves cross-ownership of media and cooperation among media organizations to deliver content across different technology platforms. Some positives of this mean that you have quicker delivery of information, and you can see on CNN.com they have now partnered with local stations and feature their video. Instead of CNN having to go out and shoot video of their own and use those valuable resources, they're able to partner with other smaller regional places and feature their video. Some of the negatives, though, result from what we saw in the free speech for sale video in a lack of scrutiny. If there are just a few number of corporations that control the media, who's going to blow the whistle when the media is doing something like they did with the digital spectrum? So these are some things to think about as you're approaching your final project, detailing the information and history about a specific media conglomerate. If you have any questions, be sure to email me through Blackboard.